The Miami-Erie Canal, The Opening of Western Ohio, by Andrew Weish. The question troubling the new state of Ohio in the early 1800s was how to turn fertile woodlands of western Ohio into a booming agricultural area. The problem was getting farmers' crops to a market outside of the area. Farmers with excess crops wanted to sell them somewhere other than the local area. Canals through Ohio seemed to be the answer. Governors Thomas Worthington and Ethan Allen Brown both supported internal improvements, especially canals. Both men believed that Ohioans needed quick and easy access to the Ohio River and to Lake Erie if they were to profit financially. In 1820, Brown convinced the Ohio legislature to establish the Ohio Canal Commission, with the purpose to hire an engineer to survey a route for a canal that would link Lake Erie and the Ohio River. The Ohio Canal Commission needed the United States government to either donate or sell the land to Ohio government. The United States refused, and the Ohio Canal Commission did not complete their survey. A new Ohio Canal Commission was created in 1822 when the Ohio legislature realized the importance of internal improvements. The commission hired James Geddes, an engineer who worked on the Erie Canal in New York. Geddes proposed 3 routes. The first ran along the Miami and Maumee rivers in western Ohio. The second included the Scioto and Sandusky rivers in central Ohio, and the final route included the Muskingum and Cuyahoga rivers in eastern Ohio. The Canal Committee eventually recommended 2 routes, the second being a western route along the Miami and Maumee valleys. On July 21st, work began at Middletown on the Western Canal route. This canal became known as the Miami and Erie Canal. To finance the canals, the Ohio government relied on loans. The legislature established a Canal Fund Commission to regulate the costs of and the securing of money for the canals. Ohio received its initial loans for construction of the canals from bankers and businessmen living along the East Coast. The initial loan was for $400,000. The Canal Commissioners established that the Miami and Erie Canal would cost $2.9 million. The canals nearly bankrupted the state government, but they allowed Ohioans to prosper beginning in the 1830s all the way to the Civil War. In 1825, New York Governor Clinton broke ground in the Miami Canal in Middletown, Ohio. This section of the canal was completed in 1828, and the next 17 miles to Dayton was completed in 1830. The Miami extension to Troy was not started until 1833. To satisfy political demands, additional segments were parceled out to contractors until 1845, when the entire canal was open to traffic from the Ohio River to Lake Erie. Now here is a portion of a video on canal diggers. Enjoy.
Hail to the man who dug the canal. Your work is still seen from the north and the south. Cheers to the boys who toiled and labored, who helped bring fortune to our cities and neighbors. La 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 lee, la la lee, la la lo. There were Germans and Irish who made up the band from sun-up till days, and they took their command. 30 cents a day and whiskey for pay. They're the hardest and bravest workers, I say. They were masters with a shovel, a pick, maul, and axe. Some could lay bricks and seal up the cracks. They could grub out a stump or level the land.
Once completed, the canal still faced numerous difficulties. Flooding could do serious damage to the locks, walls, and towpaths, requiring extensive repairs, especially in northern Ohio. Cold weather would cause the canals to freeze, also causing damage. Usually canals in the northern half of the state were drained dry from November to April. During the winter months, workers would repair any damage that occurred during the earlier part of the year. In southern Ohio, canals generally stayed open the entire year. The difficulties Ohioans faced with the canals paled in comparison to the advantage that they garnered. Most importantly, the cost to ship goods from the East Coast to Ohio and vice versa declined tremendously from $125 per ton of goods to $25 per ton of goods. The Miami-Erie Canal had 105 blocks and was 250 miles long. Laramie's summit was the high point of the canal at 521 feet above the Ohio River and 395 feet above Lake Erie. Three man-made lakes, Indian Lake, Grand Lake, and Lake Laramie, were created to maintain water levels through parts of the canal. The canal system reached its peak in revenue generation in 1855. At that time, the Ohio Canal system consisted of almost 1,000 miles, and it was at this time that the railroads were becoming a cheaper and faster way of transporting goods across the country. The increased use of the rail system and later the highway system brought a slow death to the canal system, but it took a natural disaster to completely end the Ohio Canal system. In March of 1913, when Ohio experienced a record winter snowfall and then unusually heavy rains fell that caused widespread flooding throughout the state. This flooding destroyed many of the canal system's raised banks and locks. Ohio's canal system was dead. Originally, there were some 250 miles of canal connecting Lake Erie and the Ohio River. Today, less than 75 miles of the original canal system is still owned by the state, and this is spread throughout the state in small plots of less than an acre. Recent interest in canals has attracted the attention of small Ohio communities to use what remains of the canals as attractions. The largest watered section is 44 miles located along the Laramie summit to just north of Delphus.